It often features on lists like 100 books to read before you die. But now with political tensions high in the US, George Orwell's novel 1984 is back on the bestseller shelf. It was written in 1949 about a world where a government spies on its citizens and forces them to accept contradictory versions of the truth. Sales of the book have spiked ever since a White House official used the term alternative facts when talking about Donald Trump's administration.
It deals a lot with propaganda, and with our current administration, I think people are worried about that kind of thing, and they want to be informed about, even though it's fiction, they want to be informed about the dangers of getting too close to that kind of reality right now. So,
TRT World's editor-at-large Craig Capetis joins me now from Paris. Hi Craig, welcome to Showcase.
I love being on the couch, but I'm not on the couch.
Maybe next time. 1984, it's not the only book of its kind back on the bestsellers list.
No, it's not. Actually, 1984 is the second book to read. If you're into the world of dystopian literature and fiction right now, the first one you want to read is Sinclair Lewis's book, It Can't Happen Here, which is pretty much the story of what many people believe is happening right now in the White House, where a president named Buzz, who is a huckster and a charlatan, gets elected and drives the country into chaos and ruin. He is ultimately exiled, I believe, to France, and then the fascists and the so-called corpos, the corporations, take over, and America breaks out into civil war. And it's at that point where those who follow dystopian literature say the 1984 chapter comes in.
Craig, is it all part of the hysteria? Is it coincidence? Is it part of the hysteria? Or is there some truth behind it?
I think there's a lot of truth right now in It Can't Happen Here by Sinclair Lewis, written in the early 30s. He also won a Nobel Prize for Literature. This is in what you call the fish don't see water syndrome. That the Sinclair Lewis book is telling us what we're seeing now. And 1984 tells us what will happen if we don't pay attention. A lot of people are calling Trump a fascist. I think that's incorrect. He's not a fascist. In fact, he's as far further from a fascist than just about anyone I can imagine. He is a charlatan and a huckster and a real estate mover and shaker. And the character President Buzz in It Can't Happen Here pretty much is actually, it's a pretty darn close mirror image of Donald Trump.
Do you think it's not really a case of life imitating art, it's more just people making parallels and choosing their own story, maybe?
Sometimes it's hard to tell. You know, a lot of what you see in 1984, we've actually heard rumblings of already. Phrases like newspeak, invented language, perpetual war, the thought police. And if you scratch the surface of a lot of Trump's tweets, because it's all in the writing as well as what he's vocalizing, you know, it's pretty much war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. You know, you don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows, and you don't need to know that Bob Dylan wrote that song to see that kind of dynamic taking place in these early days of the Trump administration. And of course, the literary critics and English literature teachers are having a field day. People are reading Sinclair Lewis and George Orwell again. Hooray!
Craig Capetis in Paris, thanks for joining us on Showcase.